thing is the discussion action of the minutes for the May 18th, 2022 meeting.
Move that we approve the minutes.
Second. A motion, a second.
Terry? Aye. Scott?
Aye.
Melinda? Aye. Norval?
Aye.
Connor?
Next is discussion action on the Alva Chamber of Commerce presentation of memorandum of understanding. I'm actually thinking I will move that down so that everybody doesn't have to sit through that.
I think it's in the financial report. Financial report.
Oh, I did jump over the financial report. We'll go back and pick that up, but then we're gonna jump over the memorandum till the end. Discussion and action of the May financial report.
I'm out of practice. It's been a minute. So looks like there was $11,500 in revenue that came in the month of May, giving a total balance of $123,322. There were expenses of $2,500. Looks like we paid Woods County Economic Development. That was the money that was approved for the turkey hunt. And so that gives a year-to-date total expense of $159,000. I don't know what else. I don't remember what else Judy goes over. Looks like we have, based on the cash in the bank, we have about $380,000 available after the previous requests are accounted for.
Have you signed for any of these? Of the, like the June Jam and the
I
cruise?
did sign for June Jam.
And the cruise.
So some of those
No,
need
not
to
the
come up.
cruise. June Jam and
Sugar show, Nescatunga, and that.
haven't signed that
Okay,
one.
all right. So June Jam has
The-
been paid.
Yeah. The baseball tournament has been paid and the Oklahoma Today deal has been signed for. And the golf tournament.
Okay.
Is there any other questions I can answer? Or try to answer?
I just have I don't know if there's anybody here that can answer this, but who is it that is responsible for making sure that these people, that the motels pay their taxes?
So ultimately, it is the city. We go through and do a reconciliation, and the auditors review it at the end of every year. The city does, and so it's something that there's not, I will just say, a very defined process.
Okay, so, because if you go to fourth quarter of June, there's a motel that pays 3/4, and then the fourth quarter on the top row, June 2021, there's a motel that didn't pay anything, that has paid the previous 3/4 and has paid the following 3/4. Maybe they paid double on that, but we don't have any way of knowing. When they finally paid September 30th, 2020, which should really be 2020 something, not
Which would
2020.
have potentially been for the fourth quarter of 2021.
Yeah, 2021, I'm still not gonna change that either. Okay, and then also, I'd like to note that the Hotel 12 has paid the 4 quarters on the top, and then they skipped a quarter, and then they paid the quarter to December 31st, it's 2021, it says 2020. But then they also did not pay the following quarter, which it is now May, so they've had more than enough, no, it's June, so they've had more than enough time to pay that. And on average, it looks like it's, probably $3,000 that quarter. I mean, probably $6,000, $7,000, probably about $8,000 total, if you just take an average by looking at it, which is a lot.
I was wondering that too, Terry.
And as a motel owner, I pay my taxes every quarter, and it's hard sometimes. I mean, you can see my taxes have gone down from, you look back at 2015, I was paying 4 times that in tax. But, you just figure it out. You collect it, you have to pay it. If you don't collect it, then somebody needs to be in the, I don't know. I mean, it's tax money. It's not like it's advertising.
Right. It's
So,
due and by
It's
statute.
due. And this isn't towards Jody, this isn't towards anybody, but it's just, it's my
I mean,
little,
is that like the
it's my
Oklahoma
rant
Tax
for the day.
Commission?
So we had discussed at one point in time having the tax commission collect that. They can collect it for the city and remit it to the city. And if I remember correctly, after talking to legal counsel, it would require a change in the city ordinance. And we'd followed up on that a couple of different times, and it may be something when we change legal counsel that becomes a priority in this next year, because then it takes the city out of enforcing that, and the tax commission is able to enforce that. And the other side of that is they have other sales information to be able to reconcile that to make sure that they're getting everything that's collected. And so I would say that probably that's something that we just need to talk and make a priority. I can talk with the mayor
Does
about
this
this.
Oklahoma Tax Commission charge a fee for that?
Oh my goodness,
Why would
that?
we not do that then?
And I could pay it online and,
I'll talk with the mayor about that and make sure that it's back on his radar
Okay.
when we get.
now this probably wasn't the right meeting to bring it up.
No,
I mean,
it's
Kelly's not
fine.
here.
Yeah.
But I was just looking at it and it was frustrating me as as I write my checks that hurt. And
I've asked the same question, I just didn't ask it verbally.
Yeah, when I was
Well,
looking
we have
at this, I
these-
was
have
like,
these-
in the past, it's
When they-
been like, 10 or 15 bucks from an Airbnb, which we should be also getting.
Yes.
yes.
But, this is, like big time money.
I do
So-
believe that Hotel 2 that both of those are in that first quarter of 2022, if I'm just going off of memory, Terry. But the bottom, the Hotel 12, that one is genuinely missing. So.
Okay.
And
Alright.
so in this list of hotels 1 through 12, are there Airbnbs in this? Okay.
Yes, it would be any Airbnb or B&B, hotel, motel in city limits is required to pay that.
But I'm not sure they will do.
I'm pretty sure they don't.
Some of the smaller ones.
Some of them do, but-
They do pretty faithfully.
I know
but-
some that do.
And
but-
even if there's a zero amount, they still remit the report to us saying that, no, I didn't have any qualifying stays during this quarter, so.
We did talk, Melinda, at one point also about auditing these hotels, but that's when Joe Don was here. He never got an auditor lined up for it, and then it
Well, and
fell
part,
through and kind of went
yes.
to this deal about the state collecting
yes,
the money.
and part of it is with trying to audit that, they don't have anything to compare it to, so the city could go in and ask for whatever they wanted, but it's not, there's nothing to compare it to ensure that we're not missing anything.
Right, I understand.
And so with the Oklahoma Tax Commission, they have other information that they can compare to. And so it is just a better idea all the way around.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me why we wouldn't go ahead and
Right.
do that.
Okay, so, did we approve the financial report?
We have not.
Okay, I move that we approve the financial
I
report.
will second.
We have a motion and a second.
Terry?
Aye.
Melinda?
Aye.
Connor?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Norman?
All right. All right, we're jumping over 4, moving it down the line, and we're going to pick up item 5, discussion and action on Nescatunga Golf Tournament not to exceed $6,000. Harmon, you are up, man.
Yeah. Good evening, I'm Larry Harmon. I'm here on behalf of Alva Golf and Country Club. We have came before you the past 3-4 years requesting financial assistance from the Tourism Committee to assist us in funding what we refer to as the Nescatunga Golf Tournament. I don't know just exactly how many years this has gone on, but 50 plus probably. It originally started way before I was a member out there, and you had to have one member and the rest guests. Well, we only have a 9-hole course, and we've accumulated more members in the past, 10 years probably. So by requiring out-of-town guests, other than one member, we eliminated a lot of the members getting to participate in it. So it is now open to as many members as you desire on a team. It's a 4-person team, can be male or female. And now, me personally, I've participated in this since '87. I have one local person that plays with me and 2 out-of-town guests. They're both from Edmond and Oklahoma City. And so the benefit to the tourism is we shoot for 44 teams to be in this. Last year we only had 42. We were too shy. And so if you had, such as myself, 2 members per team and 2 out-of-town guests, that's 88 people coming in from out of town, each team. And it won't be that always. There will be some teams that might have all 4 people from locally. So, we could have easily 50 people from out of town that come in and utilize the motels. They also, the wives shop while the men are playing golf. And of course then they use the restaurants and the convenience stores also. I think our budget this year, on the last page is the budget. It's going to run us about $28,248 in expenses. We look at bringing in $22,300, so that is a shortfall of $5,948. And we're asking the Tourism Committee for $6,000 to assist us with funding the labor, extra labor, and then we, on Saturday night, have a banquet and to assist funding that as well. So Alva Golf and Country Club would like to request $6,000 from the tourism for our Nescatunga Golf Tournament, which will be held July 8th, which is a practice round. The tournament actually takes place July 9th and 10th, Saturday and Sunday.
Application does say it's the 60th annual.
60th?
Yes.
What'd you say?
I said the application does say it's the
Oh, we
60th.
didn't know how long, okay.
That'd be about right. The club was formed in 1952, the year I was born, so that'd be 69 years it's been there. So it was actually where the high school's at for the first 2 years, and the city owned the land where the golf course is now at. I believe that was maybe a school quarter, and they flip-flopped. The city took the land where the golf course was, where the present high school is, and the golf course got that out there. So could be 60 years.
That's interesting. I never knew that either. That's really an interesting fact.
I didn't know, Norval, if it was 60 or 50. There's 60 on one spot and 50 on another spot here, so.
I was just telling you what it said.
I wasn't sure which one it
It says
was.
over 50 on the second.
Oh, it says
You
over
got it,
50,
you
okay.
got it.
Well, I could include 60 then.
I'll make a motion to approve $6,000 for the Nescatunga Golf Tournament.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second.
Connor,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Melinda, Norval,
Aye.
Terry.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Bring a lot of people in.
Hope you have a great event.
The next item is discussion action on the Alva Rotary Club 4th of July Spectacular, not to exceed $5,000.
Hello, my name's John Ryerson, and I am here with Jesse Klein. Not
No
going to be
stranger
a
to
lawyer,
this.
but we're both Rotarians, so we are here representing the Alva Rotary Club. We have, just to give you a little background on the Rotary Club, some of our events that we do are a Toys for Tots, which is a Christmas for a lot of children in our community that wouldn't have that otherwise. We do a scholarship for Alva High School students to go on to college. And then we have a Rotary Youth Leadership Camp in the summer. And when you do all those things, then you add this fireworks deal, which I think we've done now for 40, 50, long time.
I don't know. Norval was quite a while before I started, so JC's before that. So.
But here's the challenge. In the past, we've tried to fund all these ourselves. In the past 3 to 4 years, our membership has dropped from a group of maybe 30 to 40 members with an average attendance in the 20s to about half of that. And so we're trying to continue on these programs that we think are vital to the children in our community, the events I've just discussed, but also provide an important type of quality of life for people who live here and for people to come to Alva, because there aren't that many communities anymore that put on a fireworks show. And this just isn't any fireworks show. I've attended fireworks shows when my in-laws lived in Edmond, and it was nothing like what the Rotary guys do at this place. And so it's an event, it's a drain for people to come to Alva, and in addition to that, it keeps people in this community from leaving and going elsewhere, because people are going to have fireworks. And we're here because we need the money. We're asking for $5,000. The total cost of the event is
About 13.
13. So we do have some skin in the game, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. Do you have anything else?
The committee knows we've asked for $20,000. We've done bigger events. I have absolutely cut, squeezed, did everything, got the people who provide fireworks to give us as many deals as they can. We're going to spend $12,500 this year, spend $500 on advertising just to make sure it's done, and only asking for $5,000. And I know last year I think I stood here and asked for $12,500, which would have been the cost of this year's show. So we've raised the money. We're putting our own deal in. It's still not the right year to go back to a bigger event. I know the committee would like to see that. Honestly, Rotary would like to see that. But when you have 20 members and not 40, and as you've seen in the paper on Facebook, the red hens and other things, there are things that are still going on that's going to supplement and make up for a lot that what Rotary can't do on its face, by itself with the members that we have. So I'm still going to have a good presence. It's going to be a good daytime event. But
Well, that's a good point, because we have the police department and the Little Red Hens. There's several groups coming together with Rotary that are making this an all-day event. It's not just something where people are coming at dusk and leaving afterwards.
And I think that will help expand it again. I mean, we needed more people to be able to go to a 2-day deal or something like that. Like, I know that would be a good point to say, hey, there might be people coming in, staying the night or whatever. By having these other organizations get involved in these activities, it spreads the manpower out, lets us do this part of it. As I've stood here and told you before, fireworks are expensive. We've made it as cheap as we can to still have something respectable. Partner doesn't have a fireworks show anymore. There are going to be people from Kansas come down here for our show. There are going to be people. It's not going to equate easily over to hotel stay and tourism dollars. I know of at least one person that drives in from Bartlesville and stays the night. Last year we had several people from Fort Smith or Arkansas come over and stay. We have a little cult following. We'll get some people here, but what this is more is to keep people from leaving. I've made the reverse tourism argument for years. So you've heard my spiel. We've made it as cheap as we can do it. We're trying to give the same quality, but do it on a lower amount. And
Well,
So
the
we're
other-
just asking for $5,000.
The other thing Jesse hasn't said, because he's a part of it, is we have guys in the Rotary Club that are willing to buy the fireworks, store them, set them up on the day of the 4th of July. And we've done this for years, where they take a full day out of their holiday and they set all this stuff. If we had to outsource that and have somebody come in from out of town to do all this where we just all showed up, it would be a lot more expensive. So we do have not only the money, we have a lot of person power in the game to try to make this thing as economically feasible as possible. Y'all have any questions?
Are you gonna shoot from the rec park again?
That's the plan. It works out well. The weather's been better the last 3 or 4 years. I'm not all that optimistic about this year, but the good news is that Ritter's Field's got Milo growing, so I'm liking the fact that we might not start a fire over there this year. That just happens. You know, you have those little small things, but they seem to be confident that they like their Milo crop that's growing over there. So rec park works out really well. People can park everywhere. If you watch this online, go park at the VOTAC parking lot. That's a great place to sit. Their little parking lot's perfect to get a great view of it if you don't want to come in and be in. People line up all over. It gives us the best idea how many people come. It was a little deceptive at the park because you couldn't see how many people were there. But I really think when we used to estimate 1,500, 2,000 people, I don't have any problem with that anymore because I've just seen the number of people that show up in cars and park everywhere and do that. So hopefully we'll be able to drag the people from the park out there. I think the park activities probably end about 5 or 5:30, so that's always a disconnect. We always liked having it there, so you kind of had them trapped. But hopefully they'll all come out to the park or the rec park.
If Partner's not having a show, there'll be a lot of people coming from up.
It's harder. Cherokee was looking for someone to fire their show as of a week ago, so I think they got bailed out and found somebody. But it's not. I'm going to do a show in Medford on Friday, and then hopefully Alva's on Monday. So that's it's hard for these small communities to do it, and it's important that the year we stop it, I don't know that it'll ever come back. That might be the problem. I like the fact that this many people are involved and the other organizations are trying to do stuff. It's going to fall on a Monday, which is good. Hopefully the lake crowd will be on their way home and be here about Monday night. So.
Questions?
Have any plans to, or have you thought about starting to teach some of the younger adults how to do this?
That's an
Not that your
ongoing-
son, my son.
I will.
Because
And if you have anybody that is interested in being
I
a
don't know
local
that they're
pyromaniac,
interested
we'd
in
love
it.
to have them.
We actually do have we have at least 2 names that have come to us. I've gotten an email. I do have some names. The one name that I have, and I'll throw Patrick Dooley's name out there. He's not any younger than the rest of us, so I don't know. But as far as not donated the last 15 4th of Julys in a row, like some of us have, we have 3 licensed outdoor display operators. So it's not if someone came and worked with us for 2 years, then they can get their license. Well,
So, I mean,
3
it's-
years. I mean,
it's
it would be,
You guys
there's a
aren't
test,
getting
there's some things that has to be done, but volunteers, we can find those, but actually having the guys that carry the license,
Yeah.
we're down, and it's one of those things, so.
I mean, you talk about, when this falls off, I mean, there's plenty of young people that have, finished college and come into town.
Anybody that wants to come help, we
ready
can,
to be-
we can teach them how to be safe, but I can use all the help.
It'll be
I feel like
amazed how
we need
much
to get
work
some
it
more
is.
licenses.
John talked about the day, he didn't realize the other 3 that are involved.
Well, I'm being conservative. There's a lot of effort and work
Yeah.
that goes into this with guys that are willing every year to give up their
Yeah.
holiday. It's a big deal. It's a big
There's a
deal.
reward that goes along with it. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen me up there or seen Scott up there. After 20 minutes of that, after you put all that effort into it, it's an adrenaline rush. I mean, it's fun. We want to be safe. We want to put on a good show. But 105 degrees and handling that stuff all day long there's a lot of things that go into
Yeah.
it. So we've been a very lucky and experienced crew. We've got a lot of guys that haven't been. We've had a lot of people come and help and learn, and so I have no problem with passing a torch as soon as possible. I thought Scott was done last year, so
It's a unique experience.
But-
But it is, like you
I
said.
just hate to lose it because, we don't have anybody that's.
Oh, and
trained and
I don't-
certified and-
I don't think that any of us would abandon it. The problem is just, as I've said before, it's like one of the most expensive hobbies. It's hard for a town. I look at this $5,000, and Norval might be the only person that remembers. I've tried to make it, the city used to pay for a part of it. Before we came to tourism, the city actually did. There's some benefits to the city buying them. I will, tax-wise, buying power, municipality versus even a not-for-profit organization. So there are some things, not enough to make a difference in the budget of a show, but I would much rather the city of Alva buy this stuff and some licensed shooters fire it, because you get to buy it individually, you can get exactly what you need. I just end up, for many years, I felt like that we were getting taken advantage of because that we were being sold a show, a package, and there was probably some markup on it. We've got enough experience, we can actually just buy the nuts and bolts that we need to put on the deal. And so they've shut us down on doing it just like that, but the guys that I have are giving us at the same price if we were getting to buy it that way. So I just, if we hand it off, I want someone not to get taken advantage of. I'm not saying that we got taken advantage of. We had some good mentors that taught us some good stuff too, but we also buy a lot more product for the same price that we spent 5-6 years ago. So they may not like hearing that, but we won't name it by name.
So like, what's the coordination from the other organizations that are helping you guys with the day?
I tell you what, honestly, there hasn't been a whole lot of direct coordination on this one, but I know that the people that are involved with the Little Red Hens, even though that's, not calling it a secret organization, but I mean, like, they took an old plan that was basically, and then found the people to pick up the same stuff. So what we had was working.
They kind of adopted
fish,
a lot of the programs that at one time we did, and we also coordinated a lot of this around the swimming pool in the past, which we don't have anymore.
And that's a big
So
problem.
that's a big void, and they've taken some of the other stuff around that, and they've adopted that to provide some people in there that can help us out, because we just don't have the people power at one time we did. We appreciate that.
I still like shooting in the park better than I do out at the rec park, but I don't have the swimming pool, and that's the main source that got the majority of people down there. Plus, it was safe. There was
And
nice
hopefully
water source.
Hopefully we
when it's
can move it
hot.
back there sometime.
I hope there's a
That'd
pool
be kind
back
of a
there.
neat deal. Okay.
Well, a lot of people like it. I mean, the whole town can see it where
Hey,
you're having it.
That's the biggest canvas you're going to find in Alva to paint when we get there. Out there at the rec park. That's how I look at it. That's if you. Not to get into the artistic side of it, but I really look at it as you get to paint the sky, do that, and that is a great place to do it out there. It's just wide open. If it's 105 degrees with a 30-mile-an-hour wind, it will not be much fun, and we've been lucky to this point. So the park was a little bit more protected, but not as ideal. So you take good and the bad on this, but hopefully we'll have beautiful weather and a good show.
I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve $5,000 for the 4th of July fireworks show.
Motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion, a second.
Connor,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Norval,
Aye.
Terry,
No.
Melinda.
No.
All right, guys. Thank you. All right, next is discussion and action on the Chamber of Commerce presentation and memorandum of understanding for FY 2023.
Kay Decker is going to do the presentation. She's been exposed to COVID. She texted me and asked if I could call her, put her on speakerphone, she would do it by speakerphone. Is that,
I prefer not to do it unless Jody's here, because she is involved in this. So I was gonna make a motion to table it anyway. But, I mean, don't matter, you don't have to go by my motion, but.
Part of that, I think, and I'm just here as a chamber representative because Jody's gonna be gone, so she kind of tried to plan ahead to have a
Yeah.
reading.
I don't want to deal with that here, so.
Okay.
Because I have questions, specifically for her as a chamber director. And I don't think it's fair to us to not be able to ask her those questions.
Do you think she'd be available for a call? Anybody?
well, I mean, she couldn't be here. I don't think calling her out of the blue maybe would be good. Is there, refresh me on as far as like the budget goes for the chamber and all of that stuff,
Tricia knows a lot about that. There was a little bit of a time crunch there. Her wedding kind of fell into it as far as meeting the funds,
Good.
or partial of them.
Sure.
So she knows more about that than I do.
is there a chance to do a special meeting next week, maybe, or something like that?
I don't think Jody will be here next week.
No, she won't be back until the following week.
So were there more questions that you had about anything specific that I can answer maybe?
No,
Is that,
no, but she needs to be here.
because her and I work directly together, so.
Yeah.
But,
She needs to be
Mentioned
here,
you
and
get
Kay
funds
needs to be
July
here.
1st, or?
yeah, I think that was part of the reason we originally came 2 months ago,
Okay.
and then kind of refreshed again last month.
I mean,
So
I'm not the only person, so, I mean, if they want to,
nothing's
Well,
really changed.
Terry, do you want to formally make a motion?
I want to make a motion to, move this to a later date when all the parties can be here.
I'm indifferent, whatever. I just don't,
I don't want the chamber to not have the money that they need
Yeah,
for
that's
something.
kind of the.
But I'm like, is it that we have to pay a advertising bill, or what's the, like? I'm sorry, I'm not.
See, I mean.
Yeah, what is it?
What's
That's a
what
good
is the-
question, Melinda.
I mean, I don't want us to miss a deadline on advertising, or, Oklahoma Today you have to pay it by July 10th or whatever,
It's mainly that reimbursement of salary for Emma's time. It's on the 1st of July every month. There's, the website maintenance fee is the 1st of the month. Those are ACH'd. There is taxes due by the 15th. We're kind of working at it right on the date as far as funds go and our checking account go. So
Well, I would be
if
willing
we,
to approve the original amount that we agreed that we have been doing. So you would have some money. What was it, I don't know what it is, was it $6,000 a year? Or,
Well, 9,000 is what we,
is that what it
That's what it was raised to.
I think it was raised to 9,000.
And we've already approved that 9,000?
one side of it, right?
It's not been officially,
I didn't think we approved any of that yet.
not for the next fiscal year.
I would be willing to approve what we have already been paying.
Yes, one of the 9,000s is $750 a month for Jody to be the secretary for the tourism tax. That's one of the 9,000.
Right.
And then the other 9,000, and Angelica can probably word that better, is $750 a month for services at on the boulevard for that chamber office.
Correct. That's correct.
But tourism tax pays
Yes.
or
We have
approves
been
those
paying?
fees.
All of that has been paid every
It
year.
was $6,000, I think it states down here.
Correct.
When it started. In 2011, it was $6,000 annually. It moved up to $3,000 last year on both of those, up to $9,000 on each one.
We did move it up last year?
No, they moved it up this
Okay. But I'm willing to fund whatever we've already been paying. I don't want to pay any more until.
This is everything that's already been paid, for the last 2 years, that total is the amount. So what they're running into, as far as from the chamber board information we're getting, is the timing. So
It's like a cash flow issue.
it's a cash flow issue. So they're ending up on the financial sheet as kind of looking negative because they're having to pay out before this gets reimbursed. So the MOU is mostly just to get it on the same amount, just on a more timely, so
Okay,
they
but
can.
it's also, adding more fees.
Is there more fees?
Not really, no, because the 25 that we're talking about here was paid last year, previous year, and the 9 was approved from the city, not approved by the city, but however that distinction is made. And then the tourism tax was 9,000 as well. That's what we have budgeted for the chamber.
So the city paid 9 and we paid 9.
Yes, just like it is here on the.
Okay, so we are responsible for paying 18.
No, it is all coming from tourism tax dollars. All,
But it wasn't.
it always has been,
There's
yes.
no new money.
Yes, it always has come out of
Okay.
tourism tax dollars, but I think there was a misunderstanding that it was, part of it was coming from the city and part of it was coming from tourism tax, but as long as I've been with the city, and prior to that, it has always come out of tourism
So we've been paying
tax.
18,000.
We
A year.
were paying,
It was 6,
12,000.
it was 6 and 6, yes.
we were
So
paying
now-
And when did it
12,000
go up?
last year, that, when they did this,
Memorandum, so it has not gone up yet then.
right. So it was,
And on that
with the new
25
agreement, it would be 18 instead of 12.
Well, I don't know why we'd have to double both, or not double, but 1.5 times both.
According to, is this separate paper here, does this be what it will be? Because it says that on September 1st, 2021, it voted, the committee voted to raise the payment to 9,000 annually.
Okay,
They gave a
For both.
cost of living raise to Jody, and they
That
brought
was for
Emma on.
both.
okay, so it has already begun.
It has
Yes.
already
Yes.
done.
Okay.
This
that's
is the
pretty
second year for the 43
good.
total.
So this will be the second year.
Okay, well, but the 25,000,
It was
I don't-
last year as well. Actually, it's 24,000.
we paid $25,000.
It was 24,000 last year, actually.
So it's 25,000.
I mean, that's what the chamber had on our budget, was 24. There was a timing issue.
Yeah, that's, okay.
And the MOU attempts to take those timing issues back to all one time per
Okay.
quarter.
So
Instead
last
of
year,
Each one of them being a different time.
Yeah,
And
they're all,
paperwork
they're all
for each
kind
one
of
of them
sporadic
monthly.
and messes
And
things up.
cash flow wise, it's very difficult
Sure.
when we're paying direct deposit the first of the month and we have to wait on, say, what is today? 22nd, roughly the 20th or so to present the
For a
paperwork to you. Then it has to go a week through the city offices to get paid, and there were a month behind.
And then there's been a
and,
couple of
you know,
instances where Jody and
It piles
Emma
up.
couldn't get paid until, so they were a couple of days late on.
Last month, yes, we were
And I,
overdrawn.
from the city's perspective, I only show that we've ever paid $6,000 for the tourism tax piece of it. So I see that in the notes, but like if you look at the financial statement for this fiscal year, we only paid $6,000 for tourism tax. So the tourism tax piece has not increased. I mean, even just looking at the financial statements, you can see that it's only $6,000. So,
On the City of Alva's financial statements.
well, on the tourism tax financial
Oh,
statements.
okay. I don't-
Yeah, it all comes out
I
of.
think a lot of that's timing too, the ones we just presented last 3 weeks ago. It was 6 months of the 9,000 for the timing.
see, I don't remember it going up, but,
I don't know what your financials go through May 31st
They,
that you're looking at, and this was dated 6/3 or 4/5.
right, the financial statements are actually through May 31st, correct, but we have the city has already expensed, because we did a reimbursement to recoup all those expenses as soon as they were incurred. And so for the tourism tax piece, there won't be any additional payments in this fiscal year, which ends at the end of this month. So it is only $6,000. The visitor center piece, I may have gone up to $9,000, but I know the tourism tax piece did not go up to $9,000. It was only at $6,000 this year.
that's why I just need to study the budget, I guess, and see where that's coming out, because I mean, it's a lot. I mean, if you go back and read the description, it says that The $9,000 is for about 10 hours a week, which comes to about 17 and a half an hour. You know, in addition to the chamber, I mean, I don't mind paying it yearly, but I need to be more informed, and that's why I feel like, but like I said, there's more people on this board, I don't.
Well, could we just approve the 10,000 for the first quarter? 10,000, or is that number, 750 for the first quarter? And then next month, we could approve the rest of it. When Jody's here, we could ask her questions. Would that be, would that be?
Well, that's still, I don't know if that's what we're actually paying, because, I mean, Jody gets a salary for her chamber.
Right.
And then plus she gets this extra, which is, I'm sure she deserves, but I think we need to talk about what we get for that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have questions for Jody's on things, and as well as the website development. I mean, I encourage you to look at the different places to find the website, for the chamber, for the Visit Alva, to go to Red Carpet. We need to discuss a lot of this before we pay out this money, I think. And like I said, I would encourage you to spend some time on the internet looking at some of this stuff.
Part of the website and the internet problem is the previous designer of some of the content on there hasn't given up the password stuff. So
Yes.
I've kind of been some legal stuff with that, so I know that it's a little wonky. And that's why they've boosted so much the social media side of things and really, really tried to move forward with that and a very strong presence online. So everything is linked there. If you Google it, you'll find a Facebook page, and Emma's been incredible at beefing that up and making it a big presence. So the website does, I agree, need to be at the front of the plan, but that's the way to compensate that.
Because like last August, we approved, what did we approve last August? Quite a lot of money last August for this. I can't find it in here. Was it last August?
That was for Emma's position, I believe, wasn't it?
It was in September.
I don't,
Was it in September?
it
Okay.
says on here, the annual cost of services shall be payable quarterly, and then at the bottom of that paragraph, it says April, July, and October by the 30th day of each month. So I don't see if we waited one more month. How that
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah, we funded it for $6,000 then, but we approved a bunch of different things then. Some website development and,
Yeah, according to the memorandum, we wouldn't be paying the first quarter until the end of July,
Right.
because it does say July the 30th.
And, you know, this first month, I would say, we're kind of reeling from past months of, you know, lower funds in the chamber account, just because of some of the confusion on it, on waiting on timing of the meetings and the checks, you know. Yes, it should be dollar for dollar, and I've got reports that show all that. If you want to see it, I don't know if that's something you want to go over now. I've
I
got,
know my dues went up $100 a year or more this year. So I would imagine everybody else's did too, so that's another $7,000 probably.
but the dues, that's a different fund for the Chamber of Commerce. Those funds aren't
They
spent.
don't pay the chamber secretary.
Partially, yes, but we rely on that 500 to 750, the debated amount. We rely on that to reimburse.
And chamber directory.
Yeah.
Haven't done that in 2 years,
Yeah.
which is a big fundraiser.
There had been about it, when we did our strategic planning, I think it had been 10 years at least since there was an increase
Oh, yeah.
in membership rates.
On our, was it July that we approved the projects? It says $14,100 in July of 2021.
Yeah, I have it here. That was all for the tourism promotion. I think there was
That
2
was taking
pages.
over the website and Facebook from the previous person and shifting that to the chamber rather than an outside party.
All of those expenses listed on that one. That was about, I think there was 2 payments that year.
output report as well. You showing what all has been accomplished in the last year based on the funds that were given last year. It was my understanding, though, as a board member, that maybe that this was all the same money that had already been expended or gifted from every year prior. So there might need to be some more discussion between Angelica and Jody to shore that up and make sure, because that's the chamber's getting that this is not new money. It's just calculating it into quarterly payments to make it easier on our bookkeeping.
And it was to help setting out the cash flow, my
Yeah.
understanding as well, to make it reliable so they knew when that money was coming in and could plan accordingly.
Yeah, I think it's real important that we be good stewards of this tourism money. It's already decreased,
It's quite a bit.
by, 75% of what it used to be in the boom.
A cash flow.
And I think that we just need to
current year
have our eyes
through June.
on it a lot closer.
This is Chamber's year end is 9/30,
Okay.
so October 1
Yeah.
to date.
As far as the value you'd like to
For
see,
each of us.
you think focus for us would be website? I mean,
This current is, this one is the city medical. How we spent as of June 1st, how it has been spent. All the expenses and the deposits are the deposits from the tourism.
Okay. Yeah, I just need to find the meeting where we have voted to increase that. We can, once again, I'm one person, I'm just asking some questions,
Well, I will throw this out for an idea. Do we want to approve one piece of this for the current time to keep the chamber out of it? Because the problem becomes that then it has to go to the city council and be approved and blah, blah, blah. It runs on down the line. Takes a while to happen.
It's on the September agenda.
Okay,
And so,
thank you.
and then we could,
We don't want to cause you guys any
No, sure.
cash flow issues. We're just trying to be good stewards of the money that we're
Sure.
paying. So that's,
And I want to make sure I show everything that I can.
Yeah.
Answers your question.
because this is very.
Okay, so that's 9,000
So-
for one person. Is there another one for the other person? The other 9,000?
the other 9,000 is the visitor center staffing and operations.
And
services.
where is that moved?
That's in October.
October, okay.
I mean, I understand what you're trying to do, just to even out the cash flow. It makes it a lot better to just come once a year and ask. But also,
And I don't mind that for the salaries when they're,
Yeah.
if it's what we said we do, I think we should do it.
right,
But I think
And that
anything
would
else,
just leave the marketing
Yes.
services to discuss.
yes, because I think that we need to have our hands on that a little bit more. And like I said, I would encourage everybody to look at, our advertising from years past, look at Red Carpet Country for the last 5 years, just our page.
And I believe yesterday when Jody and I were sitting down looking through final numbers to present tonight, she was on the phone with Red Carpet Country lady, Linda, I believe. They gave us a really good deal. It's listed on here, I think, in the upcoming, if we booked so many sized ads for an entire year, we got in return a savings of somewhere around $3,000 a year on the Red Carpet Country. That included the wildlife guide and it was $7,000. I believe it's on the back sheet, yeah, $7,000. There you go. So in the past, that's been something that we could never pay before. It was one or the other. And they did shoot us a pretty good deal. So as far as shopping around, we were pleased with that amount.
Okay, the one in October where we approved a Chamber of Commerce secretary not to exceed 6,000. Did we give them a raise to 9,000 as well somewhere? Because that's what they're asking on here.
No, those are, no, let's do separate things.
I'm not finding that.
Okay, if
Because
you
this
go to
one's still
October, if you go,
2018.
oh, that is 2018.
Yeah, see,
Oh,
I don't have,
it is
Good grief.
2018.
I just saw that, I was like, it still says it's 6. I was like, I've
But
got,
what happens if we have a month that we don't have a meeting, then and that can happen in consecutive years, and.
Yeah,
you have
that's-
a-
Like, in
Yeah.
3 years in a row.
September of 2021, it says, item 5 on the agenda, discussion and action on the Chamber of Commerce Visitor Center not to exceed 9,000. So
It does
that's
say
the
9,000, but, so then I'm curious, because I showed per the city that we never paid out more than 6 for that, so we do need, I mean, if it
We need to
needed
make that
approved,
right.
we would need to make that right. Are you sure? I mean, well, let's talk tomorrow. I mean, we can talk some more about that. Because,
Yeah, I just want to know when we approved both of them for 9,000. We found one of them where it says we approved it for 9,000. That was September 15th, 2021.
But then the next month it says October, 2018.
That's what
Okay,
it is.
yeah, okay,
That's
I
what
see what
it
you're
is.
saying. So that's not, yeah.
So, yeah, I just need to know where that other 9,000, when we approved it.
we can hold that for discussion.
So,
Where is that?
you want to make a motion for the 9?
For the 1/9,
Yeah.
for the,
I don't know what order book consists of, but
It's just the like agenda minutes.
this is it, so we're, $750 through just, it's the one we got just 2 days ago.
Okay, I don't have that in my book. I know I don't.
So,
So that may be normal. He's the
and
one
the
that said
750 times 12 is 1,000.
Yeah,
That's one of them.
okay.
That's Jody's handwriting, she fills that paperwork out, and this paperwork is we're not necessarily wanting to go away, or get away from using paperwork, we want to supply all the transactions possible.
Right.
But it's this piece, these papers, and the copies of everything we did on a monthly basis, or
Right.
sporadically, if we could get it to a quarterly payment cycle,
Would help with your cash flow.
greatly.
Yeah,
So,
I totally understand.
because literally Jody prepares this where I can do it in computerized form much quicker and send it on. So,
So really the biggest hang-up really is the amount for advertising, right? That kind of feels uncomfortable. And it's
no,
making,
the staffing.
you think the 9,000 each is too high? Or am I allowed to say that?
I just need to see where it's been approved for 9,000.
The second one.
For the tourism tax clerk services.
Yes, that we pay that 9,000 a year.
even when she outrageous.
Does that-
It's just.
Does
I
that
just
come,
haven't found it anywhere.
Tricia, do we bring that to, before the tourism, the 6,000 for the tourism tax amount? Do we bring that before the tourism tax committee every year?
To my knowledge, yes, only one of them, and I thought that the city of Alva did the other 6,000 in the years past.
See, and that's what,
They didn't,
That's why I can't find
The
it in
city
this.
of Alva is also tourism tax.
Right.
We know that is the entity of both. That, but that's where this confusion gets so,
It does get difficult.
it does. You're spinning wheels sometimes, it seems like.
And I didn't regularly attend these meetings, so I
Right.
don't know if that got brought before the committee every year, or if that's just something that was automatically done every year. Does that make sense?
I guess, I just don't.
Because it is set up as part of the ordinance that, that there will be a separate clerk from the city of Alva to clerk these meetings, and
Right.
there would be a fee.
Right.
So I don't know if it's just, but I don't
If
believe
that was the fee.
if that's the fee, and that's the piece that we've never paid more than $6,000 for in
Right.
the financial statements. So, the $9,000 would have been a purchase order and would have gone through the tourism and conventions like any other, like any
So
other
not tourism
request.
tax, but just like the city maybe.
Right, well, the $6,000 that is the tourism tax, that's the line there that's under, like, if you look at your financial statements, that's the line that says miscellaneous expense, and that's the $6,000 for the clerk. The $9,000 for the staffing of visitor center would be a request, and that request is what we saw there, and that would have been brought before this committee every year. But I don't know if the tourism tax clerk responsibilities are something that come before this committee every year. Do you?
I don't believe that they are. I believe that, we just left it, it was always the same until we raised it, or until we voted to raise it. And, however, it's been a while since we've done that.
Yeah, when we looked at it, we couldn't see that it had been done for quite some time.
Right.
Since 2011. And I think that may be where the confusion is that we don't always speak the same language on the city side versus the chamber side. And so maybe we thought we were increasing the tourism tax clerk piece to 9,000, but that was not what we understood on this side. And that would, I don't know that for sure, but that would be my guess. And I don't have access to any of that
Right.
information, or I could go grab
It's
it.
important that, the
But-
people involved be here.
The ordinance does state that there will be something separate, and then the city, I believe it says that the city will assist with that cost.
Okay, so we shouldn't have, the tourism tax should not have to pay all of it.
Historically, it's always come out of tourism tax because that is through the city. So as far as that, I don't know if that money is there for that purpose. It's always come out of the tourism tax fund historically. Terry, how about I say that?
Okay.
We could probably have a lengthy discussion on whether it should or shouldn't be,
Okay.
but historically, that is what has been done. How about we say it
Well,
that
and
way?
from the chamber standpoint, I know this that I showed you, the reimbursement form, to me, when I see that, that's the tourism tax committee.
And that's the visitor center. That's what we're seeing.
Okay, but then also on the other hand, I would invoice the chamber, invoice directly to the city of Alva, and it was paid. There's two different check payments.
And so I think that's
you
where
can see where we're getting,
the confusion is.
we're wanting to
I just don't
combine
want
them
to pay
all.
for something that somebody else has been paying for. We took
We
in,
have been paying for the secretary.
I know, yes,
Yes.
100%, I know that.
Right.
See, I remember the 6,000 and approving it. But last year, we took in $108,000. So $43,000 is 45%
Of our budget.
of our budget. So, you see what I'm saying? That's a lot. That doesn't leave us very much. That leaves us, 70,000, 60-something thousand to, do what we do.
What's this do to the chamber if we bump it 30 days to next,
I'm sorry, what?
to next meeting? Is that, if we table this and push it to the next meeting so we can get questions answered?
Yeah.
Is that gonna, is the chamber gonna be, is that gonna put the
If
chamber in a
a
bind?
partial amount is a
How about
payment.
if they don't pay, get it done?
And you're asking me if there is a partial payment made, the two 6,000, or I don't want to
If they
speak.
don't take any action.
Oh, any action,
The chamber needs something,
something, yes, sir, yes.
or it's gonna be, you're gonna be in a bind.
Within 30 days. I figure it might be next meeting before we could meet, summertime. Jody's on honeymoon for another week and a half anyway. Everybody's schedules, unless you can meet end of June.
Do we know when Jody will be back? Not to put her personal.
Actually, I take that back, she isn't going to be back until the 5th of July.
Yes, that was, when I spoke to her this afternoon, that was my understanding as well.
And that's too late, right?
For a little influx of money, yeah, would be.
So, but we can go ahead and pay the $750 because we've already approved that, just like it's been regular, we don't have to take any action to do that, right?
It's only been $500, and that's where the confusion is that's the part that's only ever been $6,000. We've never increased that to $9,000 that we can find.
Right.
Okay,
But
and
we
Tricia's
could-
got $750 on two different sheets that she's been turning in.
Well, the one of them, you have to make sure you look at the date correctly.
Okay, sorry.
There's 500 ones prior to, and then it raised to 750, and it is labeled at the top, Northwest Oklahoma Visitor Center.
The Northwest Oklahoma Visitor Center, that piece last September was
Right.
approved to
To
9,000.
9,000.
But that's not what we're talking about. The tourism tax clerk dollars, that's what I'm
What
saying.
is that? What did you just
The
say?
tourism tax clerk,
Uh-huh.
secretary dollars, that's what I'm saying. I don't show that
The
that's,
top item.
the top item, yeah. I don't show that that's ever been changed
9,000.
beyond
It's-
6,000.
But the
And it
visitor
had
center
one.
was raised
9,000.
or
That, the
added.
visitor center was
Was raised
raised
in
to
the fall.
9,000 last
I believe September. wasn't it?
September, yes.
Mhm.
September.
But the clerk, so the clerk dollars of 6,000 every year, that one continues. To my understanding, that's not been brought before this committee annually to be approved. We've just always done it.
Okay, wait just a sec. Chamber of Commerce Tourism Center Secretary is 9,000. That's the same as the Visitor Center Staffing and Operation Services. No.
No, that's what I'm saying from the city's financial statements, that top line on the financial statement, expenditures. I'm not sure what you're.
This that we approved,
That's the tourism promotion, 25,000.
this that we
Well, I'm
approved
looking at the,
in September.
okay, I'm just trying to figure out on where it says tourism critical support, it has in here
Sorry,
on a
did you-
date.
Came in to-
approved
I know.
That, I didn't know if that was from us.
So,
or if that-
Thought it was.
it
Okay,
has
okay.
on there that it's
That's-
the tourism
that's why
secretary,
they're-
but that's
that's what I
not
wanna make
what
sure
the
that's
agenda
the
item
that's the
states. The agenda item states that it is for the visitor center.
No,
No,
this one.
this
See,
This is the one that
This
has
one's
been, this one's already been, this one is one, it says it
I
has
think
been,
this
we
is
can
what-
find out
of
where it
course.
is. That's wrong.
Staff person works.
This is not the tourism tax secretary.
Okay,
This
so the
is the
chamber
visitor
pays
center.
part and then we pay part.
Yeah, and that's
Sorry,
where,
of 9,000.
no, that's okay, I mean, we're,
Yes.
We pay 9,000. The tourism, you guys approved $9,000
Okay.
for the visitor center
Okay,
personnel. And that's what we pay.
okay.
And it does say on the budget, it says the tourism tax secretary, but those are two different things.
Oh, it says tourism center.
Oh, just tourism center
Yeah.
secretary. So that's probably the confusion
Uh-huh,
is so,
all
the
right.
clerk for tourism tax is the $6,000 that you see, like
That
if
was
you
in
look at your
August.
financial statements.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Like if you look at the financial statements here,
and that is the tourism tax secretary.
that is
Or
that there.
Yes,
That we have paid historically $6,000.
okay, so if we, I mean, I have it in writing right there, that's 9,000. We approve that to 9,000. What if we approve the visitor center staffing person, no, not 9,000, what is it, per month?
750.
$750. And 500 for the tourism tax minutes. $1,250 to get through next month. That way Jody can have her honeymoon and everybody will get some money, and
Can you repeat that?
500 for the tourism tax documents clerk, and 750 for the visitor center staffing operations. So that gets you a month until we can get all this worked out.
Okay, so total those together.
1250.
150.
Yes?
So, I have another question though.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the back of this page, it says that 2023 tourism and marketing funds expenditure, there's 10,500 listed at the top, that is for staffing.
Yes, that's Emma.
That's Emma.
A portion.
Okay, I just
The
want to.
chamber picks up any bridges.
I didn't know what that was. So, anyway, okay.
So we pay 9, right?
This is a whole,
This is a whole different.
this is a whole nother thing. This is part,
The third one.
this is in the tourism marketing center, then they have
Oh, this is what the extra 25,000
Right.
wants to be
Yes,
spent
is
on?
what's on the
That's
back.
the budget, yes.
Yes, okay.
And what I handed you was current, October 1 today, well, June 1st, showing where the funds have went.
So basically,
And this is showing where we would.
somebody else has to pay for it, but now you want us to pay for it.
No, you paid for it last
You
year.
paid for it in like
We paid.
September.
It started,
Yeah.
year.
So we paid the 9 plus the 1050? We paid
How,
both.
how
Mine
much,
doesn't have anything to do with it.
how much do you
Mine's-
need to make it through the next 30 days?
That's weird.
You're just gonna get your wallet out.
And you know, I'm just gonna say this, I would do too, we don't know when we're gonna have another meeting, for sure. It might be the next, the 20th of July. By that time, we'd be looking at needing to get, why not do 2 months of the 550 and the 750? So, twice, at least to give a little cushion, you know, you're not running right up on it.
So 2,500,
Yeah,
get you where you need to be so that we can then revisit all of this at the next meeting with Jody and Kay here and get questions answered. Everyone's good?
okay.
If you're not good, say it. You're not good.
Yes, I am good.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Make that motion.
We'll get with Angelica and straighten all that out because the chamber board thought that this was no new money. So we got to make sure that, and there seems to be a misunderstanding on whether the raise happened or not, and whether she's been getting paid that raise all year without it actually coming from you guys. So we got some work to do there.
Raise in the grant, not a raise to the employee. There's been no raises. I just wanted to clear that up, when you think raise, or think of a employee raise.
So do we have a motion?
I support the full amount, but I'm more involved with the chamber and have been. I was just trying to get it cleared up. I'm not gonna make the motion though.
I think the part that I have a question about is just the advertising part. That's all. I don't have a problem with any of the fees or any of that. I have a problem with the advertising part. Because I feel like, maybe like Terry, maybe we're thinking about this the same way. You just would like to know, what the return on investment is on those ads for the year. And I have no problem with us being out there. We need to be out there, but I want to make sure that's the best way that we can spend our money. Because it's really easy to buy advertising in a magazine or in red carpet country, and not know what you're getting back for that. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not a marketing, person whatsoever. I know Kay and is, and she was waiting by the phone if she needed to speak about any of it. She knows more about it. She talks to Linda or Karen.
Well, that's why I think
more often.
that Terry wants to talk to her and ask her
Carla.
questions.
So, third time, yeah, that's true.
So we need to move off House Center. So I will move it out there I will make a motion that we pay the chamber $2,500 towards their services. And we revisit the
Salaries.
and towards their salaries, and we revisit the memorandum at the next meeting.
Second that.
So the motion is to approve for $2,500 and revisit the MOU at the next meeting. Norval,
Yes?
Terry, Connor,
Aye.
Scott, Melinda.
Aye.
All right. I think this is going to tax packets provided digitally. That's the next item. What they're wanting to do is do away with the books. You would receive your stuff digitally. My thought was, and it seems like the main objection is getting the books to the members. My thought was maybe some people would like to receive it digitally. Some people would like the books. If you wanted the books, they would be done and you would pick them up.
And talking
That's
with
an
Jody
idea.
today, she did say that she would still be bringing the packets to the meeting. That if you wanted a book, you just need to provide your own book, but she would bring printouts to the meeting. It would just be sending it to you. When we post the meeting, it would be sent to you electronically. My understanding, Emma, you can correct me if I'm wrong, was to use the same service that we're currently using through the city to do that?
Yeah.
That we
It's for the members.
We purchased, the city purchased a user for the chamber to use for that sole purpose of the same program. They would be posted with the other city meetings. Everything would be then on a similar format. She would still bring the printout to the meeting. It just would be not delivering it prior. And I'm going to speak for Jody. I can't imagine she would be opposed to somebody coming and picking it up early.
Right.
I would say that, but we would want to double check with Jody. I can't imagine though, because it'll all be ready. It'll just be simply a matter of printing it out, and so there wouldn't be a reason that you couldn't pick it up. I know we do that for some council members at the city. We print it out on Friday when we post it. They come by and pick it up. So.
I'm surprised when I've been on this committee and there was a book that I.
But the
was
book is
delivered.
nice because you
It is
go back
nice.
and you look at other months
Yes.
and you compare things and you can study out of this book.
Now, if we had that availability, but I know we're not gonna be able, unless.
I mean, we
Well,
go back and search
backlog
on
and
the
scan
internet.
everything.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
all
that would
those
be-
meetings are available
There.
and the minutes are available
Yeah.
Yeah, I
online. so
know,
you
but
could
that's,
go
yeah,
back.
that's a lot, where if we would come and pick up the books for those who want to, that would seem like a good compromise to me.
I'm a digital person, I love having it in a small version, and I can search and do everything that I
See,
need to
there's a
fast.
guy who would like his digitally, so, yeah.
I
Connor probably
I'd
would
take it
too.
either way, but
Yeah.
Why
to
do you say
me,
that?
Terry and I are going, man, we like this book.
Well,
It's this or my phone, and my vision is worse every
right,
year.
and I wouldn't be able to do it on my phone, I'd have to do it on a tablet or a
Yeah,
laptop or
yeah,
something.
Is it something that
like
can be
so-
sent out, are you talking about Town Cloud?
Yeah,
Something
it would
sent
be-
out through Town Cloud every time, and then if you also want the book's available?
Yeah,
Pick
I
up.
wouldn't mind
That
picking
would
it
be
up.
my, that would
So
be
both,
my,
you can do both, the book's
The only
available.
reason for this is that Jody has no business taking time to deliver to.
yeah, if we picked
Yeah.
up the book, she wouldn't have to
Yeah,
deliver it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time to
Yeah.
coordinate that, make sure you have everything done. You have, it's time that she could be in the office doing other things.
And if I'm not there to go with her and take them, she has to get out, transfer to her chair, it's a hassle.
It is a hassle. Turn my gift certificates in. We receive my chamber votes.
Is this something we'll talk about next month to finalize, make sure
Yeah.
that Jody's okay, or Emma? Is both options possible?
Yeah.
Is that creating more of a hassle, or we're just eliminating the delivery?
Yeah, it gives you the option of getting it earlier, you can pick it up. I think the digital side of it, I understand where they're going.
I wouldn't need a phone call though, just a text, say, hey, come get your book.
Yeah, just like, hey, book's ready.
Yeah.
So,
Because that's how I can remember when the meeting is.
Well, in Town Cloud, there is, so like when the meeting packets are ready, it sends out a notification to your email. It's not a text message, but it's to your email that says your agenda is ready to view. So it could be as simple as, I don't know, once again, I
A
just don't
text
want.
message, I
A
get it.
text message is easy to
Email
use.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally for that.
I mean, I don't know that that's, it says discussion and action. I don't know if we need to vote on that or not. I don't know that that's anything, as long as we're all in agreement.
That will come get our books if we wanna.
Operational. isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't think it would take action to change that.
No,
Good to
okay. So at this time, we're gonna go with that. If it changes, we'll bring it up again. Any remarks or inquiries by the committee? Okay. Melinda, anything happening on the, have you been approved yet?
I've been approved, but they haven't had a meeting yet since I've been approved, so.
Okay.
Do they have one scheduled?
Well, I understand there's supposed to be one July the 5th, and I received an email with the audit, so I'm guessing they have to vote on that.
Right.
So I'm thinking that it will probably be July the 5th, so.
So for our next meeting.
So for our next meeting, hopefully I'll give you a little update, so.
Cool. Awesome. All right. With that, we are adjourned.